Hi there, 𝘄𝗲𝗽, Lauren Hall here from Loan Market Edge, coming to you with our weekly wrap. What's trending in lending? Still running that, still working it. Fresh,
catchy. It's actually cool.
even like a superhero Friday, or clearly just me again, but fresh Captain America shirts. Entertaining myself for days. So what a huge couple of weeks it's been. Yeah, lots happening. First and foremost, a big shout out to all our friends, family, compatriots living in Victoria at the moment. So absolutely sending out much love, lots of support. Just hoping we sort of get through this, get it cleared up as quick as we can. So very relative, and we hope you guys are doing great, and big love from us. Flow on from that, little bit positive news, State of Origin in Townsville. For the first time, stadium paying for itself, which is really exciting. So the feel up there around our Townsville office and the city and region in particular is just electric at the moment. And if you have a block of land, a piece of dirt, a spare room, a tent, a driveway, you are pretty much bound to make money off accommodation right now. Not that that's why you would do it. You would offer it for no cost. You're a good person. But it's just gone bananas up there. So it's great to see the city, region, everyone coming together, and well deserved after what's been, a pretty tough few years up there. So super exciting to see that coming together. End of financial year just around the corner, which is crazy, literally 3 weeks away from another financial year. So shout out to all the self-employed clients trying to get those last invoices in and get it all done. So, and a big shout out to the accountants having to go mad very soon. So it's good. It's been an interesting financial year. And a couple of things I guess I wanted to touch base on there was what we saw pretty much around rates. We saw some interesting stuff come out this last couple of weeks in around the increase in, we saw sort of 8% growth this year. If we talk about house prices, another 2% in May. They're talking 15 to 20% at the end of the calendar year, which is crazy. But what that has driven, and why that's probably a little bit more relevant at the moment, is the interest rate movements. Yeah, we've seen some of the banks start to shift, and the forecasts have moved, and we've seen those maybe 3s and 4s start to go up. We've seen some 2 years the fixed rates sort of come down. So not advice by all means, it's an advice, but just general commentary. If you were thinking about fixing and you were wanting to do something long term, just honestly get on the phone, call myself, call Loz, get in touch, have a chat, think about it, because we don't know how much longer it's going to stay as low as it is. So lots of chats if you were holding out, still got something with a 1 in front of it or early 2s, definitely worth looking. If you haven't done it yet, don't miss the run. That is our big shout out around that. The other one we wanted to talk about, I'm getting a lot of inquiry about leading into the busyness of the market, great segue, FYI. The busyness of the market is we're seeing a shortage of stock, right? And so we're seeing a lot of conversations now or inquiry around off the plan, which is really interesting. So we thought we'd just take the time to talk about that, because probably over the last few years it hadn't been as front in the market as it's been. So I guess what is off the plan? Firstly, we're talking about a property that's not yet built. In a lot of cases, especially at the moment, these are maybe 6, 12, 2 years, 2023 down the track, would be whether that's a unit style or townhouse style development. It might be some of the house and land we're seeing at the moment, where land won't register for 8, 12 months down the track. So similar, I guess, when we talk about what is off the plan. Traditionally off the plan is that unit townhouse style, but I think it's also relative of what we're going to go through about whether it's the house and land. Yeah, absolutely. So I guess what are some of the benefits? Firstly, the shortage of stock, first and foremost. It's very difficult to find stock at the moment. It's very difficult to find maybe where you want to live or what you're looking for or what's in your price bracket, or if you're moving up from interstate trying to find stock. There's just a lot of reasons. So that shortage of stock can be held up and obviously give you instant access to security, knowing what's going to happen, not instantly because it won't be built, but you have that confidence in knowing you can move forward. not having to put down the full deposit. And now again, Lauren will go through some of the requirements.
I do get a
criteria. She is allowed to talk shortly, which should be good. She gets a piece, yeah. But not having to pull down the full deposit at the moment, still having the ability to save. Yeah, if you're another 2 years away and you go, okay, we're going to move back in with mum and dad and we're going to start to now pump down on the savings. We're not paying $500-600 a week rent. We want to pool our money. We've got $500,000 a week. 12 months later, there's 50 grand. You know, it's a really exciting opportunity for clients to get back into that and start that savings plan. Maybe clear some debt. We talked about as an option as well. Use that time to tidy up the back of house. Yeah, to get ready for the new place, where if you wanted to go today, you might not have the deposit, you might not have the financial position around debt, you might have been short. Yeah, so this allows people to do that. And one of the changes we've seen with the migration state by state, I guess nationally now, there are people coming into this market and go, well, that 1 to 2 years, we've still got to sell a place, we've got to do a few things. It gives them time to do that and confidence knowing they've got where they're going to be moving into sorted. So would you like to, Lauren, go through some of the criteria and requirements?
Yeah, cool. So the first one is around the developer or your purchase requirements. So when you buy an off the plan, you need to present you still need to present a deposit. It won't be the full deposit necessarily for the bank, but general rule of thumb is 10% is what you'll give to the developer or the agent selling the property. The contract will still have a finance clause. It might be 14 or 21 days. Obviously, in that time, you can get your pre-approval done if you're wanting to look at doing that. And then you need to go unconditional or commit to that property or completing that property. So as Phil said a bit earlier, this may be something that doesn't complete for 6 months, 12 months, 2, 3 years down the track. So that's your requirements when you're looking at purchasing. The other side is, of course, the lender requirements. So that is where it gets interesting and there's some variables, I suppose, in that. So from the lender's point of view, any pre-approval or finance approval we get done through them is generally valid for about 3 months or 90 days. Okay, sometimes we can get them extended a little bit more, but generally that's where it sits. So understanding that if you need to commit to a property today or an off-the-plan purchase, there isn't necessarily an ability to actually get you an unconditional approval done, okay, or for your finance to still be valid. So we'll need to go back at some point and reapply to the bank once it's nearer to completion, once it's nearly getting ready to settle. Because there's no physical security there isn't an ability to get a valuation done on the security as well, okay, which would normally be part of your finance process if you were buying just an established property or something that was already built. Again, that would be done down the line once the security is getting close to being completed and we're sort of doing that second finance part in there. So a couple of variables in that, I suppose. Obviously, your big positives in that is it's giving you plenty of time to plan and get organised. One of your variables is around the market, which is obviously something we can't control, as we know. Classic right now. So understanding if we're buying today and that project may not complete for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, whatever that looks like, that valuation is going to be done when it's complete. Okay, so depending on what that market's doing at that time, that will dictate then what the value of that property is. So that could be an increase, that could be a decrease. Okay, yeah, so that will affect your ability. You had your bit.
Stop.
That will, time's ticking, I'm trying to talk fast. That will affect the amount of cash that you need to present. That may mean you need less cash, that may mean you need more cash. So again, just making sure you're taking that time to plan and go, hey, we're building up as much cash as possible when that happens. Income-wise, yes, your income will be reassessed when we get closer to settle. So making sure obviously we're still working or understanding maybe the position we need to be in when we get to that point as well. And also the bank's lending criteria will more than likely change during that time as well. Okay, so that may be positive. They may ease lending in certain areas or on certain types of income or client sort of requirements, or it may go back the other way as well. So there's just a few variables in there. So we obviously, love to be talking to clients early on in the piece, ideally before they're committing to that project, just so we can be going through what that process looks like. And we're always here, obviously our goal is to get you the very best outcome. So around understanding, okay, what do we need to be doing between now and when we need to settle to make sure we're in the very best position to be able to complete that purchase.
Putting a plan together for off the plan.
Yes.
What is trending in lending? All of these great top tips for this week. brought to you by 𝘄𝗲𝗍. Maybe we could use that, maybe, yeah? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Hopefully you found that informative. Always here to give you guys as much info as we can. So enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.